you guys? Marty Schwartz here, hanging out in Nashville, Tennessee. And I have my buddy Scott Schwartley here with Siren Pedals.
Yeah,
How are you, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Marty.
Yeah, good to see you. So you've got your own pedals here.
Yeah.
Siren Pedals.
Yeah, exactly.
How long have you been doing these pedals?
About 1.5 years now. So we actually launched January of 2020, so right before COVID hit.
Oh, yes. Convenient timing. I think we're going to just talk about where Fuzz originally came from.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess we can probably start there.
Sure.
I don't actually have the first fuzz pedal or style, which is the Maestro fuzz tone pedal, but that actually originates back to 1962.
Okay.
And I think the fun part of it is obviously we're doing this video here from Nashville, and Fuzz was born in Nashville with Marty Robbins, which was kind of
a Marty in Nashville.
Yeah.
Creating Fuzz. Okay.
Yeah. So it's an interesting story. There was actually a studio here in town. Marty was recording a song. There was a broken console. Long story short, the sound that they got from that was a fuzz sound, which birthed eventually the Maestro fuzz tone, which was considered really the first fuzz pedal. And it really became popular in 1965, where Keith Richards actually used it on Satisfaction. And then from there, that pedal essentially exploded.
And then everyone wanted that to capture that sound. Out of all these classics here, is there one you think yours emulates more than another one here?
I would say the Midnight Train is definitely inspired by the Big Muff. Big Muff actually ended up coming out years later after the fuzz tone, the original fuzz pedal. The original fuzz pedal was in 1962. The Big Muff eventually came out in 1969, I believe.
So the Maestro was like basically the first pedal almost of all time, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it kind of kicked it off for everything else.
But then now we have almost like a snapshot of the history of Fuzz over here, yeah?
Yeah.
So you can tell me what you brought to show me what we got?
Yeah, so there's the Maestro Fuzz Tone that came out in 1962. That then inspired the Tone Bender, and this pedal here by Keeley, which is the Fuzz Bender, is really just the Tone Bender on steroids. I guess they kind of basically just made mods to it to make it more modernized. Classic Tone Bender sound would be I know Mick Ronson, the David Bowie sound, Jimmy Page. That's really what the Tone Bender's all about. Tone Bender 1.5 then became the Fuzz Face, which is basically Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
This is the Jimi Hendrix sound. Speaking of Jimi Hendrix, kind of a variation of the Fuzz Face is the Octave Fuzz, or Octavia was the original, and this is just a full tones modern day version of the Octavia. So it's basically just folding that waveform, taking things up one octave, classic Octavia type sound. And then a few years later, so again, the Maestro Fuzz Tone was 1962. Fast forward to 1969, and you get this bad boy here, which is the Big Muff, which everybody knows and loves. And then the Big Muff really inspired kind of different other variations of it. There's like the Ram's Head, the Pie, which is kind of like the original, the Triangle, the Russian, the Civil War. The list goes on and on. But to me, when I think Big Muff, I think of kind of classic like Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan. And then I brought this pedal with me today too, because for those that are real big fans of the Big Muff, and obviously I was inspired by the Big Muff, because that again inspired the Midnight Train that we'll talk about today. But this Muffaletta by JHS is awesome because it actually provides all the variations of that Big Muff tone. So again, whether you like the ram's head sound, the triangle sound, I probably don't need to get all the details of all those, but obviously all of them provide their own unique personality. With that said, the thing that inspired this is when I first got into pedals, I really got into fuzz, and I bought this one, which is the Earthquaker Hoof. And this is actually a Big Muff circuit, but specifically the Russian version. So the Russian version, you're gonna get more of that grittier garage rock, think Black Keys, Jack White. So this really just did it for me. I loved it. And so when I had the desire to create a pedal company, obviously didn't want to create a Russian because I'd just be copying this, but I really also like the Civil War, and I discovered the Civil War using the Civil War option on this pedal. And so from there,
Civil War, what is that? Like a type of circuitry or something? Or?
Yeah, so it's basically like with the Russian, you're gonna get more of that grittier garage stuff. With like the Ram's Head, you're gonna get more of the scooped mid, sort of like a David Gilmour, Pink Floyd sound. Okay. The Civil War, what you're gonna get there is just more of this balance. So it's probably a little bit brighter than some of the other fuzzes. That was kind of like one of my favorites in addition to the Russian when using the Muffaletta, and also just learning and exploring Big Muff circuits. So yeah, so the Midnight Train is based on the Civil War, which again is gonna be more of that flatter EQ, a little bit brighter. And then we've added this toggle switch here, which allows you to scoop the mids, increase the mids more if you want, which you can not only get the Civil War sound on the Midnight Train, but you can also kind of get a little bit of that Ram's Head. You can get a little bit of that Russian sound just by tweaking the little toggle switch here. But
all right, Scott, so I've got a clean sound on this amp. I'm using the bridge pickup on this Les Paul, so I'm just gonna play a little riff clean. Okay. And then we can hear the Midnight Train in action. So
sounds good.
Let me pick a little riff here that I, in the world of fuzz, I like E, the key of E. All right, let's see what happens. So right now the toggle switch is, explain what's going on with the setting you have there.
Yeah, so if you have the toggle switch up, it's basically scooping the mids or getting rid of the mids. Middle's kind of more of just the flatter EQ, and then if you flip it down, you basically get more mids or just that mid sort of hump.
Cool, so let's hear all three. Go to the first one, which is scooped.
Yeah, scooped.
That's what we were just playing.
That's
so.
So in that case, I had fuzz kind of cranked up a little bit, tone at noon, volume close to noon. Yeah, and you kind of get that sound. So this setting here would be something I'd recommend as far as, again, kind of that Jack White sound, Black Key sound. It's more of that garage rock. Yeah, and then if you actually take the same setting and then just add a little bit more tone to it and then put it at a flat, this is gonna closely mimic the original Big Muff. And as we mentioned before, that's kind of that Billy Corgan Smashing Pumpkin sound.
It's fuzzier.
Yeah.
It's brighter. It's less mid-punch.
Awesome. And then for those who are big fans of like David Gilmour, like myself, you can also use this for any type of lead stuff. So you would actually turn back the fuzz a little bit to like maybe 9 o'clock. You can keep the tone up. And then in the case of David Gilmour, he used the Ram's Head, which had scooped mids. So in this case, I'd want to flip the toggle switch up.
I like it.
And then kind of in that same vein, if we just crank up the fuzz just a little bit more, you're gonna get more of just a like kind of drive type sound, which is also good for leads. And if you want to make it even more aggressive, get the extra mid bump.
A mid boost.
Yeah, and then you're gonna start to really kind of get into, I guess maybe even like a Muse type sound, Matt Bellamy, just a little bit more aggressive type
Okay,
fuzz.
let's see. Well, that thing sounds really awesome. Let's go back to the very first sound on it. That's my favorite sound.
Yes.
But it really depends on what you're using it for.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to thank you, Scott. Shout out to Scott Schwartley
Marty.
here from Siren Pedals. One, it was great to check out your line that you have here, but then also a little bit of the history on the fuzz pedal. I appreciate that. Definitely. I know you guys appreciate that as well. So where can people find your pedals one more time?
Yeah, sirenpedals.com.
Well, anyway, you guys check them out in the link below. And also thanks for supporting. Hope to see you soon. Take care, guys.